Yeah, hi everyone. Since I was rebuilding my, or redoing my aquarium, I decided to change some of the plumbing around. One of the things I did was I added a second Durso, so I could potentially increase the flow through the system, and also have redundancy in case there was any kind of a blockage or a plug up. So both Dursos are running, and they look good. So really no sound from the Dursos on the top side. On the bottom is where we got issues. See, lots of done everything I can trying to tune this, but lots of bubbles coming up, and it's just it's going crazy. And this is freshwater. I know the saltwater will have less bubbles in this, but I don't think it'll totally go away based on this. So I've increased the flow from where I had it before when I only had a single return. Obviously, I can do a lot more flow with 2 returns than I could with 1. But I'm really not happy with this. So what I'm going to try the on Reef Central. There's a system called the Silent and Safe Overflow system. Basically involving one of your tubes is a siphon, and one of them is actually a standard Durso. And I'm going to try that method, and this video will compare the difference in the sound. And I'm going to keep the dart on exactly the same setting. All right, for comparison, this is the dual Dursos running with the dart wide open. So this is a full flow through the dart. It actually can sustain the amount of flow needed to handle the full flow of the dart. However, it's annoying. There's no way you could live with this amount of noise. This is in my office, and I take conference calls in here and everything else. This is ridiculous. So that's why I was looking for something else. I'm looking for a way I can maybe tune it and get more flow, still keep it quiet. So we'll compare this to the full flow when we're running in the Silent and Safe system. Alright, now I'm going to change over to the Silent and Safe method. I'm doing this pretty easily. I have this part that I've made. Basically, I'm going to take and disconnect the I got the Schedule 80 coupling that comes out from on the drain line. I'm going to take that out, put a ball valve in there, and the ball valve will allow me to adjust it. For now, I'm just going to stick the Flex PVC into here, just to show what it does when I change over to this other method. The other thing I need to do is I need to close off the airflow on the Durso. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this hole temporarily. I'm going to take some Teflon tape. I'm going to seal the cap on tighter, and I'm going to seal the street elbow in just to make sure there's no air leaking in, so it'll make a good strong siphon. So that will be the modification, and I'll show the results of what happens after I run the system in this new method. Okay, I've changed it over now using the Silent and Safe method, and I gotta say that I am actually amazed at what a difference this makes. The flow in the sump here is incredible. The system is totally keeping up, and there are no bubbles. It is completely silent. Pretty amazing. So the instructions say you tune it such that the main flow in the siphon is coming in, but you tune it enough so there's still a small flow that would be silent coming through the Durso. So you can see there's just a little bit of a flow that's coming in here, right? So that means part of the Durso is working. The main flow, though, is coming out of the siphon, and just to show what this is at, I mean, it is a serious amount of flow, but no bubbles, and it just silently running in into the sump. So I gotta say I'm quite pleased with the results. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it up to be full throttle on the dart and see what happens. So I'm opening up the valve on the drain and I'm opening up the valve on the dart. So now we're running with the dart wide open. I mean, you can hear some more noise coming from the overflow on top as the water is rushing over the side, but it is completely silent. And you see just a few little bit of bubbles coming up, but nothing that's blowing, no indication of anything, and everything is quiet. And looking at full tilt, it is keeping up. So I'm actually tuning it back just a tad, so we can get a little bit of flow coming through on the Durso side. Okay, tuning it a little bit more. Here it goes. Maybe I did that a little bit too much. But you can adjust it such that you get the right amount coming through each. And I left this up so you could see, but if you put it in, there are just a few tiny bubbles, but none of the noise associated with that. And again, you can adjust that however much you want coming out of there. I tuned it down even a little bit more. But this is insane. This is the dart wide open. I mean, the flow through this thing is, like 4,000 gallons an hour. I mean, this is going like gangbusters. I mean, let's look at the flow coming out of this tube now. That's crazy. So, in summary, I say I'm very pleased with the silent and safe overflow method. And that's the way I'll be going. And my next, I'm gonna do a failure test next, and I'll document what happens in the silent and safe, simulating both overflows being plugged. Now, one of the things people that talk about, what happens if the flow gets backed up. I don't have a third thing like the silent and safe one does, but the way the sump is designed, it'll actually prevent any kind of overflow from happening. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to demonstrate two different types of failures that could occur. So the first failure I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn off the siphon flow completely, meaning all of the water will then come out of this second overflow. Here we go. Turned off. So the flow is coming out of here at a much higher rate. So even though the one failed, the other one didn't have a problem. And let's say this one was to get backed up too. Luckily, the small overflow, the small return area that I've got prevents it from actually overflowing onto the floor. So the aquarium will not overflow even if we lose both overflows. So I don't really need a fail-safe third system. Now I've opened up the valve back up. The siphon is reestablished, and things will equalize in a minute. Alright, just another comparison. This is the system with both drains going into the bubble tower. I've got the bubble tower with nothing in it. It's just clean. I'm going to put some bio balls in there just to show a comparison between with and without the bio balls. So this is dual Dursos running dart wide open and going into the bubble tower. Alright, just to document this case, I've got I've got the bubble tower filled with bio balls, and dart running on full force here. And this is the kind of noise profile that it's got. I'm going to tune it down in real time. I'm going to tune the dart down to about 3/4 just to show what it does. So tuning the dart down lower, that's about a 3/4 flow. And it still has those incredibly annoying gurgle, bubbling noises coming out of the bubble tower. So still need to make a change.